We're back, and today we're going to start doing the rhinestone portion of this tumbler. We did vinyl last week. We learned and everything else. We learned why it was important to do the wet method or to do Lindex behind the vinyl. We are going to modify the templates, and we're going to make a new template for my skinny tumbler. So we're going to modify this one because when I put the vinyl on this, it's barely, like, it's honestly barely a difference. But as you can tell, down here, it tapers down a little bit instead of it barely hitting the bottom. And so then I have to go back with a straight razor and cut it straight. So we're going to try to just take off these corners a little bit so where they're not so pointy. And then the top is actually perfect, but with the rhinestones, you want it to be perfectly centered with the template. And so this template is not centered at all. So I'm going to try to take off a few milliliters to make it perfectly match. And that way, when I do a tumbler on these and somebody asks for something custom, I can just pull up the file and not have to worry about if it's going to fit, if it's not going to fit. And then I want to do the same with the skinny tumbler. I have my tape measure, and so we're going to measure this and put it on my Adobe thing. So for now, I'm just going to do a time lapse of me just getting everything right. With that being said, let's get started.
So, even though I'm showing this, I would like to explain when I was doing this little part, I was doing everything the hard way. What I learned is that you can make a template in a certain way that I'll explain in just a second, but this is just me working on the hard way of how to do these templates, and so that's why I didn't really want to go any further than that. But let me explain. So you're going to take two pieces of paper. You're going to tape it in the middle. That's what the blue represents in the middle. You're going to tape it front and back. And then once you have those two pieces of paper, you're going to take your cup. Sorry about the bad, Photoshop of the cup. And then you're going to twist it down at the end of the paper. And you're going to tape behind the cup. And you're going to roll the cup up, which hopefully I demonstrated that well. But when you roll the cup in here, it's going to end up actually rolling straight up and down linear within the paper. So as you can see, it's rotating, pretend the paper is rolling up around the cup. And once you have the cup all wrapped into this paper, then what you want to do is tape it closed. So you're going to tape the cup, or the paper to the cup and the paper to itself. And then once you have the paper all rolled up into itself, it's going to be shaped in this oblong weird shape that I have right here. And then what you're going to do is take a straight razor and you're going to cut around the cup. This is just me trying to show you like exactly you want to cut around the cup, and you want to cut up and down where it overlaps the seam, because you're going to have this perfect little cone around your cup or wrapped around your cup, and then you're going to find where the seam is or where it overlaps on the paper, and you're going to cut right down the middle, and that's where you make a perfect seam, and your template comes out like this and fits awesomely. Then you're going to want to take a picture of that template set out. I put it on a background where it has the inches and stuff, so I know exactly what size it is. And then you're going to do whatever you want on that template. And of course, I traced around it. I took some off the top just to make sure, and it turned out perfectly. I would highly recommend it.
So I finished doing all of the tumbler templates. So now that I have like the perfect templates down for these tumblers, I can actually put them back in their boxes up on the shelf and save these for later. And then now I'm just kind of cleaning up my mess. But I did figure out how to properly, how you can easily edit some. I'll show you right here. It's a screen recording. You go to change size and it changes. You could change from pixels to centimeters to milliliters, and I did inches, and I just resized it there. And I did the height and width on there, and then put it on my Cricut. And once I got it down to literally like 0.01 of an inch, one of whatever of an inch, and got it perfected, then I did it like that. So I honestly, I need to see if that template even works. So let's try doing that and seeing if I could cut out a template for the rhinestones and see if the exact circular part of it will fit. So let's do that real quick. Forgot about that.
So I also wanted to add that Adobe Fresco is free. All you have to do is make an account, a free account on Adobe Creative Cloud online, and you download the app on your laptop, or at least I don't know about other iPads and stuff like that, but on my laptop I was able to download it, and I have like a special pen that I actually use with it. But Adobe Fresco, I think Inkscape, you can also make free, like do the same exact thing on Inkscape. And of course, the Cricut, if you have a Cricut, it has the free thing. I do not have Cricut access, so all of this is completely free.
I was stupid and I crumpled it up and threw it in the trash. But as you can see, the template is arched and everything. And I wanted to make sure that when you put the template on, that when you look at it head on, it looks straight. So it's like a linear pattern on the cup. So all the way around, it's a linear pattern. And as you get to the arch, they do kind of taper off a little bit, but that's because you have to for it to fit on the cup like that. But mostly it is a linear pattern. But with the arch, it's really hard to tell about how straight they are because obviously they're not straight. These are all arched. So the only thing I did was I filled up the top with all the rhinestones that I could and squeeze them in as much as I could. So there was a lot of messing around, but you don't want it really small because as you can tell, I'm gonna have to fix some of it because it did create some holes in the pattern. So I'm gonna space some of these out. And so far the rest of them looked good. Like it's just this one little corner over here. I think it was just a little bit too close or it didn't read it properly when I was switching it to Cricut from Adobe Fresco. And so I probably have to redo some circles. But anyway, that's how I could get it straight. And then once you copy that top row, once I had this top row, I kept adding them down all below. And of course the top is gonna have more rhinestones than the bottom. So once you get all the rows lined up going top to bottom, which by the way, on Adobe Fresco or on Cricut, if you just copy and paste and you just press the down button on your keyboard, it will perfectly keep it lined up straight and just, well, at least on Adobe Fresco. On Adobe Fresco, if you copy and paste, you just have to move I think it's the Y position, and you just move it down and it perfectly keeps it straight. But if you're on Cricut, you want to make sure your Y position is all the same down below or up and down. So I think on the Cricut, I put it at 0.01 on the Y axis. So it's off this, it's a little bit off the side. And or you could do like 1.00 where it's like an inch away from the side and everything's at 1.00 inches up and down the grid. And then you can just space it out. And I would space it out at 0.18 of an inch. So as long as your X axis is like 0.18 away from where the other one is, you just add to where the X, like if you're on the X axis of 1.00, you want your X axis to be at 1.18, and that's literally like 1/8 of an inch right there space. And so yeah, you got to do a lot of math, you got to do a lot of thinking, but that's why I wanted to do it, to share with y'all, because I feel like there's not a lot of videos out there explaining how to place your own rhinestones. There are, like, the Rhinestone World has like programs that you can add to CorelDRAW, which is like $300 to add to CorelDRAW. I don't have CorelDRAW or the fancy rhinestone template, so I have to like basically do it myself. And with me, you just got to work with what you have. Once you get the template done and you get just a straight rhinestone colored template, you can actually start making different colored templates to where you take some of the rhinestones out. You can make your own patterns. You can put flowers in it. I'm just going to test out the rest of the video and show y'all what I ended up with. I just did the straight ounce one, came out perfectly. It's just perfect with no rips, tears, or anything like that. Nothing's too close, nothing's too far. It came out perfectly, so we're good on that one. So now we just got to redo the tapered one until all the circles come out perfectly, because once I get it down on the flock, it is like that flock I can reuse over and over and over again. And I rather do it a million times on this than waste any kind of flock. So.
And this is me showing you how the arched one came out. It was just all silent, and the only reason why it ripped is because it got stuck to the mat really well, but everything turned out perfectly. And so if you want to see the results of these, make sure you subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.